One of the most interesting Mega Evolutions from the new regulation introduced is Mega Eelektross, with 2 abilities in one alongside multiple ways of running Eelektross, as it does have access to really high attack and special attack stats, where it can be either coil setup sweeper or a really strong special attacker. It has multiple ways it can be run. But is it good enough to be able to stand against some of the biggest threats in this format? That's what we're here to try and find out. This is my take on Mega Eelektross. We're going to be trying out the coil set in today's video, and originally this was a Regulation H team that I was going to bring to the Las Vegas Regional Championship that involved Focus Sash Blaziken, Life Orb Alola Ninetales, paired with Pokemon like Dragapult and Braviary. We're going to be seeing how Mega Eelektross can potentially fit onto this team, and then try it out and see how well it can perform. But first, let's break down the team. So first Pokemon up is going to be the Mega Eelektross. It has Levitate prior to Mega Evolution, and then when it does Mega Evolve, it still keeps Levitate as half of its ability, and then the other half basically allows it to get a stat boost whenever it takes a knockout. This works like the old Beast Boost mechanics. So it's pretty interesting. This Mega Eelektross doesn't have the best bulk in the world. 85, 80, 90 isn't too bad, but you need to really invest a lot in order to actually take attacks. But it has pretty solid attack stats, 145 physical attack stat and 135 special attack stat. Its speed is only 80, which is pretty unfortunate for Eelektross, because that means it's not really the best sweeper. So it's in a mid tier, so it needs either Tailwind or Trick Room and needs to hard commit to it. However, it does have a few different ways of running it. There's a special set, which is really strong with good coverage, and then there's a coil set that's been popping around. I'm going to be going with the coil set because originally with this team, it was to go with coaching Blaziken, and I do want to try out coil on the Eelektross and see how well it can stack up with coaching Blaziken. And the EV spread on this Mega Eelektross is going to be pretty good HP stat, near max, in order to be able to just make sure that it is taking hits pretty well. And we have 31 instead of 32 is because I don't want the 192 stat. It makes you take a bit more damage from like sand and burn, which is actually pretty important. So just going to keep it at 191, which is pretty fair. Then for the attack stat, we have 15 with Inanimate Nature, which gives a stat point. It gives a pretty good rolls to be able to KO most Charizard Ys, especially the bulky ones. So you either get the KO, which is a high chance for you, or you can just finish them off with a priority move, which is nice. The 11 special defense allows you to, with the HP, to be able to usually survive a Weather Ball from pretty much any form of Charizard Ys, including Modest Max is pretty much near guarantee. And then the rest is going to go into speed to be able to speed creep stuff that outspeed like Choice Scarf, Basket Legion, under Tailwind, and especially some of those are Chaladons out there. The moveset, as I said before, Coil, which increases the attack, defense, and accuracy of the Pokemon for guaranteed accuracy. We're going with Wall Charge. I've seen like Supercell Slam on the Coil set, but I don't really like the idea of like you going for Supercell Slam into Protect and then just failing and then taking 50% recoil. So we're going with Wall Charge because that power initially is actually pretty important. And even at +1, it's needed for KOs. And then Drain Punch, of course, to be able to get recovery and threaten Pokemon like Incineroar and King Gambit. So next Pokemon we have on the team is going to be a pretty standard Mystic Water Basculegion. I was messing around with some of the ideas with the Basculegion because I had Citrus Berry at one point, but I do think that having a ghost type is pretty important for being able to deal with the threat of the Sneaslers, which can be a little bit annoying for the rest of the team, as well as like it can be annoying for Eelektross because playing around Dire Claw and Poison isn't exactly great. So we will have a mod that's pretty good into the Sneasler and be able to threaten a lot of Pokemon offensively with that Mystic Water Basculegion. That's also a switch into Charizard Y Heat Waves that can take it decently, and then Aqua Jet, of course, able to put on a lot of pressure. So that's the idea of this Basculegion, just simple max attack, max speed with the Mystic Water. Even though we don't have Tailwind, it's still able to put on a lot of pressure, especially because I still want to be able to at least outspeed like the Mega Swampers outside of the rain, because I do have ways to change the weather. So I felt that was pretty nice. And yeah, pretty hard hitting Basculegion. Not much to say. This mon is really strong, especially with the core that we have here. Next Pokemon we have is going to be King Gambit, and you do want to scare away Intimidate, especially because the Coil Eelektross set doesn't exactly like dealing with Intimidate and Parting Shots, pivoting. So having King Gambit to be able to scare away those Intimidate users, specifically Incineroar, is actually pretty crucial. I also want a way to threaten the fairies because I think Eternal Float and Sylveon are pretty annoying to deal with for Eelektross. So having the Iron Head King Gambit seems pretty nice. And as you can see, I'm running a really specially defensive King Gambit. And this King Gambit's able to survive like a lot of attacks specifically. It's able to live like the combination of the Fairy Feather, Moonblast plus Earth Power from Glamour. That was where this spread originated. That was what I wanted to use with this King Gambit. Although it's fallen off, just being able to take stuff like the Hyper Voices, like this can live like 2 Hyper Voices, a Dazzling Gleam into Moonblast from some of the Floettes, which I think can be pretty nice. So I do think having a really special defensive gambit, especially if I'm not running too much speed and don't have speed control, I want to be able to take attacks and still threaten that Iron Head into those fairies especially. The Black Glasses helps cover for the less attack, and the Cowtown, the Sucker Punch, is still able to do a good amount of damage. And as I said before, really strong pairing with Baskelegion as well as Eelektross to scare away those Intimidates. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Life Orb Alolan Ninetales, and I think Life Orb Alolan Ninetales is actually pretty neat because it's able to do a lot of damage, which you might not expect because normally Alolan Ninetales doesn't have the best damage output because of its low special attack stat. However, with its good coverage with Fairy just being really strong in the format, alongside the Blizzard and Freeze Dry, which usually miss knockouts, with Life Orb actually allow it to pick up knockouts into stuff like the Mega Swampert Guaranteed and more, which is why I think Life Orb Ninetales actually works pretty well right now and is able to do a ton of damage, especially with the priority moves from the King Gambit and Baskelegion to help out in allowing the double ups to pick up the knockout with the Ninetales. So EV spread wise, it's just simple max speed and max special attack for the damage output. And since we're running Life Orb, we don't really need too much bulk initially. Blizzard for the really strong ice type move that spread. Moonblast, which is able to put on a lot of pressure that you'd be surprised by. Freeze Dry, which is pretty nice again into Pokemon like Baskelegion, Swampert, Milotic, and more, which is pretty great. And Protect, of course, to keep itself around. Set up the Snow in order to disrupt the rain teams, I think is pretty solid for the team in general. And yeah, otherwise I did consider maybe changing it to Aurora Veil, but I think if you're running Life Orb, I might as well just run all 3 attacks. And I do really like having the fairy coverage on this team as well. So I think that this Ninetales set should be pretty good, and I don't think you need Aurora Veil, especially when the Weather War is always a little bit tough. You're not usually attacking with Ninetales until the last possible moment. So you're usually switching. So I don't think Aurora Veil for trading the Weathermon is usually that great in a situation like that. So next Pokemon we have is going to be the Focus Sash Blaziken with the Speed Boost ability, which gives a +1 speed at the end of every single turn with the moves of Heat Wave, Aura Sphere, Coaching, Protect. I really did like Focus Sash Blaziken in Regulation H, and the core of the Life Orb Ninetales with Focus Sash Blaziken alongside King Gambit and originally a Braviary was actually really fun. So that's why I wanted to build this team around this kind of idea of what could take advantage of the coaching from Blaziken alongside the Alolan Ninetales and the King Gambit, and I felt like this was probably going to be the best fit. I think that coaching Blaziken is really fun because of the fact that Focus Sash gives it a way to play around some of the faster teams. You have a bunch of priority, so you do have ways to play around the Tailwind stuff. And Speed Boost Blaziken, if it gets out of hand, like even though it might be stacking coaching boost onto its partner, it actually does some pretty good damage with that modest nature. Heat Wave and Aura Spears are actually hurting pretty hard, and then that Speed Boost is pretty nice. Although you do miss outspeeding some stuff in the format, like the base 130s after a +1, which is a bit unfortunate for Blaziken, which means you're still susceptible to regular Aerodactyl, Mega Gengar, and more. It is still pretty worth just having the initial damage output because that Aura Sphere and Heat Wave can do a ton of damage especially. So I think it is probably worth the trade-off there, especially since you can outspeed Mega Aerodactyl even with the timid nature. So that's the idea of Blaziken. Let's see how well it's going to perform here. That Focus Sash just allows it to live 1 hit. And Blaziken, you'd be surprised, can stick around on the field for quite some time, giving the allies its coaching boost and dishing out some pretty decent damage with Heat Wave and Aura Sphere. Final Pokemon on this team is going to be the Citrus Berry Garchomp, and originally with this team I actually did have a Dragonite instead, and I also tried out Dragapult as well initially because the original team that I had involved a pretty powerful Dragapult that was able to do a ton of damage next to the Blaziken. But unfortunately, like, I don't think Dragapult is still that great in this format right now, at least physical wise. And then Dragonites ended up making the team still really weak to Aerodactyl-Charizard combination. So I kind of need something that could have like a potential matchup. And realistically, Garchomp's one of the best Pokemon because it's actually pretty decent into that specific duo. With this going to be the Citrus Berry Garchomp because we do have the Life Orb on the Alolan Ninetales, we are going to go with a bit of a defensive Garchomp with Citrus Berry. Still max speed because max speed Garchomp is just really strong in the format, being able to outspeed those base 100s. And this spread does allow you to live Mystic Water, Wave Crash from Baskelegion while still having a good amount of attack. And Rock Tomb's pretty nice for speed control wise because it could allow stuff like Eelektross to be able to outspeed some of the Pokemon that might catch them off guard, like the base 100s that don't run max speed. Like you can Rock Tomb into an attack from Eelektross, and that might be the speed control that might be needed, while it can also help out into the Aerodactyl because then it can allow Blaziken to be able to outspeed it after a speed boost. So that's the idea of this Garchomp, able to help out against the Charizards and the Aerodactyls as a switch in, which is pretty good. A good dragon type that's just able to switch into like those fire type moves that could be pretty annoying for the team, and mainly an answer to Charizard Y. So how to use the team? Well, you do have multiple different ways of being able to dish out a lot of damage with the team because you have a lot of strong Pokemon. I'd say the coaching Blaziken is where this team really likes to be utilized. You have a Focus Sash Blaziken that's able to survive one strong attack usually, and then access to coaching, which gives a +1 attack and defense boost to your ally, which can be really great on a lot of these Pokemon that are pretty defensive in nature, and also just be able to dish out a ton of damage, especially getting those knockouts after the +1 attack. So you have it with the Garchomp, which can be really nice because it can allow it to live a Life Orb Dragon Claw from opposing Garchomp after the +1 defense and then knock them out without having to utilize Life Orb itself. You have access to, of course, a +1 King Gambit, which can be nice. And since this is especially defensive King Gambit, really does appreciate it, and those sucker punches are super threatening to make up for the lack of speed. You have the Eelektross, which you can go for Coil plus coaching immediately and get +2 attack and defense right off the bat. Or you could go for just a +1 attack and go for a really strong hit with Eelektross immediately at the start, so you don't even have to set up turns with coaching. And then, of course, with Basculegion, I think everyone knows how powerful Basculegion is at neutral. At +1, Basculegion is just super threatening. So I'd say Blaziken is a really great way just to start setting up with your team, especially with the coaching, but also can just dish out good chip damage because Aura Spear and Heat Waves are pretty good coverage moves that do a ton of damage with Blaziken. Then you also have, of course, just other Pokemon that you can pair it with. The Eelektross is probably like one of the strongest moves that you can go for. Again, Eelektross likes to be paired with Blaziken, but it can also be paired offensively utilizing like Basculegion, King Gambit, and the Garchomp. You could go for Coil immediately, or you could just go for strong attacks. Those are definitely very acceptable. Ninetales can lead if their team is really weak to the ice moves especially. Usually will be kept in the back though in case there is like a weather war, especially against Charizard or the rain teams. It's very nice to be kept in the back and then really just lurking around to be able to threaten a huge freeze dry or blizzard in after the weather is removed. Then you also have really just strong options lead wise. You have a classic like Garchomp King Gambit, Basculegion King Gambit, Garchomp plus Basculegion, just really strong attackers that can just go for initial damage, where you could go for like a late game cleanup with like maybe like Blaziken Ninetales, which are pretty fast. That speed boost and having just good speed stats on the Ninetales and the Garchomp can be pretty nice. Or priority, of course, with King Gambit Basculegion could be really strong end games as well. But if you are setting up Eelektross, you usually do want to go for it immediately, or maybe you try to set up afterward. Maybe you go with like a Blaziken lead and then another partner. You just try to do as much damage with that partner as possible. Then you bring in Eelektross next to Blaziken and then start going for coachings from there. That's definitely another way you can play it, but a lot of things that you can do with the team. If you would like to check out the details of the team, you can check them out down below the description. And if you want to try it out, the replica code is on your screen, and there's also the stats available on your screen right now. But let us try out this Eelektross team. It wasn't exactly designed for Eelektross, as it was, again, a Regulation H team. I did kind of adjust for this format, but let's see if it's still as fun as I remember, because I remember Blaziken and Ninetales being really fun in Regulation H. Let's see if it can still work in this current regulation as well. All right, we have Swampert, Archaludon, Grimmsnarl, Raichu, Clefable, and Pelipper. Rain team, not super easy, but manageable. I do think I'm okay with going with Blaziken plus the Eelektross. It should be pretty all right in this matchup. And then what am I thinking of in the backwise? Clefable could be a little bit rough because Unaware Clefable is not exactly easy for my team. I think Ninetales plus Basque is probably what I normally do against Rain, because King Gambit's like okay against this if it was Basque, but there's no Basculegion, so I think we just always bring, or yeah, since they don't have a Basculegion, so I think I'd just rather bring my own Basculegion because Wave Crash does a lot of damage. Last Respect is pretty good. Garchomp's like okay, it's good in a Raichu of course, but I don't think I really need a Raichu answer. I think I need more of a, I need a backup to Archaludon and a backup to Swampert in case things get a bit ugly. So let's see. Life Orb Ninetales is decent here offensively if I can get a good freeze dry position, but let's see what they're going to bring out. Grimmsnarl plus Swampert. Okay, that makes sense. We will lead our Eelektross and Blaziken. I am willing to just go for a coaching immediately with my Blaziken into the Eelektross. So I am going to go for coaching immediately, and I am going to go for a Mega Evolution just protect here. I need that defense boost on the Eelektross as soon as possible. They could go for Fake Out, they could go for Reflect. All of those are completely fine by me. I just need to boost up the Eelektross so it's actually taking attacks from the Swampert all right. Maybe I could Wall Charge the Grim, predicting a Parting Shot into Wave Crash the following turn, which would be really nice. I think Blaziken Protect is pretty obvious here, but I'm usually okay with trading Blaziken usually as long as I get a coaching boost here with Eelektross. Also, no Mega on the Swampert here, which is pretty interesting. They Protect instead, which is very strange, but I'll take it. Yes, they go for a Reflect. All right. I wonder if they have Raichu in the back if they're not Mega Evolving. We will get a coaching off with our Blaziken, so now we have a +1 Eelektross. I wish I got a Coil Up, but like, yeah, that's pretty all right here, I think, for me. And I'm going to go for, you know what? Should I just go for Aura Spear plus Wall Charge into Grim? I think that's probably pretty good here. If it screens, do I expect this to be Sash? Probably not, actually. Maybe I could just go for Coaching Wall Charge again. Because if they don't switch out, it's kind of a weird spot. So you know what? I'm just going to Coaching Wall Charge to Grim. They retreat to Swampert. Interesting. Into our Chaladon. I don't have a Grass move. They do go for Parting Shot. If this is Pelipper, I'm like blown away right here. I'm blown away if it's going to be the Pelipper. Show me Pelipper. Please don't be Sash. If you're Sash, like, oh man, please, please. Here's a coaching, so we get plus. Did they Parting Shot my Blaziken or did they Parting Shot my Eelektross? I mean, this Pelipper's not living Wall Charge. It's not Sash. It's not Sash. Beautiful. All right, Pelipper gone. That is massive. So that means I win the Weather War guaranteed here, which is huge. And I get another attack boost. So right now, Eelektross is +2 attack. It's looking fantastic against my opponents. Let me just say, it's looking really good here. Is Swampert going to show itself? I wouldn't be surprised if Swampert shows itself. It does. I do have quite a few plays I can go for. Did they set up Light's going to Reflect? They went for Reflect first. Okay. My best play here is just to click Earthquake into the Arch. Or not Earthquake to Arch. Or a Spear into Arch. And just protect the Eelektross here. If they go for the KO and the Blaziken, that's fine. They still don't Mega Evolve. I think they're protecting, I guess, the Swampert. What are they so fearing of? I'm curious. I know it gets access to Giga Drain, but I just revealed I'm physical earlier. Here comes Aura Spear into the Archaladon. Look at all that damage in Archaladon. That is beautiful damage. And that puts in range of any attack from my Ninetales and Eelektross. They go for Electro Shot into Blaziken, or is this going to be into the Eel? Either way, this is looking really solid because I should just be able to get a Aura Spear off and be in a really good spot afterward. They do target down the Blaziken, but I am going to be that Focus Sash. And with the speed boost that we have access to, oh, it doesn't even need the Focus Sash. But now we have a pretty boosted Blaziken. It is +3 speed. We outspeed the Swampert. Well, we outsped it at +2 unless they were Jolly, but now we guarantee outspeed Swampert. Aura Spear KOs the Arch. We can go for a Drain Punch and get some recovery on the Swampert if they target the Eelektross. So this is looking pretty good. And again, Ninetales is looking phenomenal to clean up in this endgame because we won the Weather War super early on in this game. So Swampert is going to Mega Evolve. We will see Archaladon Protect. That's not too surprising. I'm assuming they're going to KO the Blaziken because that is a big threat to them now. And that is fine because now I can go and unleash the Blizzards afterward. They go for Liquidation, not Wave Crash, and they target the Eel. That still does do a lot of damage, actually. But this Drain Punch should do an okay amount. You know, through Reflect into a Mega Swampert, I'll respect that damage. I'll respect it. How many turns of Rain do they have left? I mean, I could go into Ninetales immediately, but I don't think I have to. Last turn of Reflect, unless it's Light Screen and also 2 turns. Okay. I mean, if that's the case, my best play here is still to just Aura Spear the Arch and just Drain Punch the Arch slot as well, because probably Grim comes in, I imagine. Yeah. So Grim is coming in. That makes sense. I don't think I'm KOing the Grim. I wasn't even sure if Wall Charge and Aura Spear would KO the Grim. I'd say not through Reflect. Yeah, probably not. So I think this is still better for me. They do go for Liquidation, which is fine. They target down the Blaziken. I'm completely okay with that. They went for Reflect immediately. This Reflect wears off. unless they're Light Clay, and that means they should have both screens if they have Light Clay. Nice, okay. So we can go on as Ninetales now, and we threaten Blizzard, Drain Punch, and they do not have a counterplay here. So that's beautiful. I could Freeze Dry here, but Swampert doesn't knock out either of my Pokemon. They're going to forfeit because they realize that, and it doesn't seem very hopeful for them. So Eelektross Blaziken putting in beautiful work for the first game of today's video. Just unable to break through it. All right, we have our Chaladon, Pelipper, the Metagross, Grimmsnarl, Sinistcha, and Swampert. All right, the Rain team. I did want to showcase this. So this is a pretty popular Rain team. I'm going to go with my Blaziken plus Eelektross mode. The idea is to try and snipe Pelipper on the switch with Wall Charge so I can win with Ninetales plus Blaziken potentially. And it's okay if I lose Blaziken in exchange for the Pelipper sometimes, but usually they might focus down the Eelektross. I think I'm going to go with... I go King Gambit or Back is the question. King Gambit's usually better if there's a Basculegion, but they don't have Basculegion. They also, I think, run Fighting Move on the Metagross. Although I don't think they should be bringing Metagross. I think they should always be bringing Swampert. So Basculegion's just better into it. So I think this is probably the way to go. Like, King Gambit might have been nice for Sinistcha. That's like the only mon I think I could argue where it might be better to bring the Gambit is to deal with Sinistcha a bit easier. But let's see what my opponent decides to go with lead-wise. Grimmsnarl, Swampert, okay. As I do lead Blaziken, Eelektross, I don't mind going for... So they do have the option to go out into their Pelipper immediately. I kind of like the idea of just going for... Not Protect. I prefer going for Coaching into Eelektross and protect the Eelektross immediately. Because I don't live Wave Crash in Rain at neutral, but I live it at +1. So the idea here is to try and bait out the Pelipper, because they might be scared of potential Giga Drain turn 1 into Swampert. I could get a Coaching off here into the Eelektross, which should be pretty safe. So let's see. They could protect. I don't usually expect Fake Out on these Grimmsnarls. So let's see. Mega Evolve the Eelektross. Let's see if this plan works. Eelektross protects. I don't think Swampert protected. Okay. Oh, they did go for it. They attempt Parting Shot immediately. Okay, cool. So I do get a Coaching off. Did they go for Earthquake or Wave Crash? I imagine if you're making this play, you're going for Wave Crash. Yeah, okay, perfect. So that's really nice because now I can try to snipe the Pelipper. Although I'm kind of curious if they'll let me snipe the Pelipper. I think this is fine. I'm just going to go for Coaching again, and I'm going to go for a Wall Charge into the Grimmsnarl. Because if they play, let's say, Protect Swampert, Grimmsnarl goes for Reflect, for instance, then like I'm taking the Wave Crash way better with my Eelektross, so they're just giving me momentum here. They retreat Swampert into Pelipper. Oh, this might be our... Oh, I thought that they were going to go Pelipper on that slot and go into our Chaladon for the other, which would have been very smart there. But here we see Reflect. Okay, this is perfectly fine. So I do get another Coaching boost, which is still pretty positive for my Eelektross. And a Wall Charge into Grimm is still pretty good damage. Yeah, like that's actually really good damage. I'll take it. Now they might try to Parting Shot here. I think I'm willing to go for an Aura Spear Drain Punch double up into the Chaladon, so I'm going to go for it. Yeah, I think that's worth it, because if they don't set up Light Screen, and even if they set up Light Screen, getting a bunch of damage to Arch means that Basculegion is looking really good in the end game, as well as Ninetales. Like, both of those Pokemon are looking really solid now that Grimm's weakened, and if I get a lot of damage or to knock on the Arch, I feel that that combo is looking really potent. So let's see what they're going to do here. It could be Protect, Light Screen, which would be fair. They go for a Parting Shot into the Blaziken, which is fair as well. Okay. So I wonder if this is Pelipper or this is into Swampert. I wouldn't be surprised to see Swampert, but Pelipper could be brought out here. They do go Swampert. They don't want to take a Wall Charge, but I do go for the Aura Spear Drain Punch play. This should do a lot. 50? Yeah, about 55. With the Stamina Boost and Reflect, it probably lives the +2 Drain Punch, but even then, it's still not bad. They actually go for Dragon Pulse, which is cool. as Blaziken is able to hang on pretty comfortably. And here's a Drain Punch into the Archaladon. Yeah, it does survive, but as I said before, getting that damage in Archaladon is super important, so I will gladly take it. And now my opponent's kind of in a weird spot here, because this Eelektross is looking really hard to stop. And I do have Aura Spear for the Archaladon, so I'm willing to lose Blaziken here because Blaziken's done his job. I'm willing to Aura Spear into potential Protect from Archaladon. Do I Drain Punch a Swampert? Do I Protect the Eelektross? I think Protect Eelektross isn't too bad here. Yeah, I don't think it's too bad to Protect Eelektross. The reason I'm fine with protecting Eelektross is because... Okay, Pelipper comes in, perfect. Because now I can get Ninetales in pretty safely, I imagine. I was like wondering if they would protect maybe Wave Crash, but this works out pretty well for me. If they KO Blaziken, it's an amazing position for me. Okay, they targeted Eelektross. Okay. So I can now retreat into Ninetales if I want to and click Wall Charge. I could also Coaching again, but I think Ninetales is just a better play because this also covers Weather Ball from the Pelipper if it's faster than my Eelektross for some reason. And then the Wave Crash is doing less damage. So I like this play. Keeping Blaziken around to deal with Arch is still pretty solid. Ninetales can come in, and if I KO the Pelipper, then I can Freeze Dry the Swampert. And if they retreat Pelipper, that's fine, because something's getting sacked here. Gonna be the Archaladon getting sacked here, that's fine. So I do get the Wall Charge into the Archaladon. Archaladon goes down. That means Blaziken has less value to keep around, so I'll sack that. This is Wave Crash into the Eelektross. Shouldn't do that much damage. We also get an attack boost. We're stalling out screen turns. Wave Crash comes out. Yeah, look at Eelektross just eating that. Pelipper in. I might also be just willing to Freeze Dry realistically, because Eelektross is still the biggest threat. Can I be Pelipper Grim? Yeah, I can very easily. I think actually I could switch, but why don't I just Freeze Dry this? Well, here's the thing. If they knock out the Ninetales, it's not pretty. I'm just worried if they click Tailwind with Pelipper and click Wave Crash and Eelektross, which is a play that they can make here. I think the Pelipper is probably bulky based on the damage that I did with Aura Spear. Should have some bulk. I think I'm willing to Freeze Dry and I'm willing to Wall Charge the Pelipper. Because then I think Bass should be able to win the end game. Like, if they protect, this is excellent for me. Assuming that I'm faster than Pelipper, I should KO the Pelipper, and then I win the Weather War control. So I felt like this risk was worth it. Yeah. Because they're usually really bulky Pelippers on this team with Citrus Berry if they rent screens with Grim. Because it's nicer to be able to pivot into Pelipper, and you usually don't need to Sash, because you have screens usually. So nice. We are able to KO the Pelipper. Eelektross gets a boost, and now it's looking pretty grim for my opponent, because now I just swap out the Ninetales, sack my Blaziken, bring out the Ninetales again, and then I'm in a really good spot. So that's kind of the idea of like what my traits are usually against a rain team, I felt. So glad this worked out pretty well. So I can protect Eelektross, sack my Blaziken, and now boosted Eelektross next to Ninetales will be able to win. And that's why Life Orb on Ninetales is pretty nice, because it ensures the Freeze Dry knockout into like any of the Swamperts, even the ones that run bulk recently. So yeah, they go for Light Screen, that's fine. They've already taken a lot of damage in response, and we are going to see Wave Crash. I mean, targeting the Blaziken is just like losing here, because now I just get to free switch into my Ninetales. I guess they could go for like what? They could go for Parting Shots into Ninetales, so the Swampert lives the Freeze Dry, but even if they do that, I put the Swampert into range of Aqua Jet or Wave Crash Recoil, I think. So I just Freeze Dry and I just go for a Drain Punch into the Grimmsnarl. So I feel pretty good regardless. Like, the only way they can knock out Ninetales is through the Swampert probably. And if they protect, like, I just get a Drain Punch. So I think they're hoping for Parting Shot into Night. They're not going for Parting Shot. Are they going for Spirit Break or Foul Play? I don't know which move that they run on Grim on this team, but Drain Punch does KO the Grimmsnarl, and now we're in a pretty, like, if it wasn't already checkmate before, it is absolutely checkmate now, because now we can go for a Drain Punch plus a Freeze Dry into the Swampert. So Yep. Battle gonna be forfeited, and nice. Eelektross plus the Ninetales and Blaziken was able to put in huge amounts of work in that game. All right, we have Sableye, Eternal Floette, Sneasler, Overquill with Umbreon and Garchomp. I almost thought I accidentally queued up singles battle for a moment, but this is definitely interesting. Mega Pokemon? Probably gonna be Eternal Floette. Sableye and Garchomp do get Megas, but I kind of doubt it. They might. I wonder my opponent's. Well, Eternal Floette's not even popular in singles, so very interesting to see like what my opponent can really dish out here. Okay. King Gambit should be good against this team overall. The Iron Head is pretty strong against my opponent, as well as the fact that if it's Intimidate Overquill, which I imagine is, I should be good into it. Blaziken's pretty alright here. Eelektross is okay as well. I just gotta watch out about like the burn from the Sableye if it does have Will-O-Wisp. Garchomp coaching is also pretty strong here. Bask is also pretty decent. There's a lot I could bring here. I'm thinking maybe Ninetales lead. Ninetales is pretty strong because it can just throw off a Moonblast, which is pretty powerful here. I don't mind leading something like Ninetales Basket Legion. It's really powerful just in general. The Wave Crash is pretty strong. Or I could lead like Ninetales King Gambit is also pretty decent. Actually, I am running out of time. I was debating between Ninetales King Gambit and Ninetales Bass. Blaziken wasn't too bad, but my problem with Blaziken is I'm not the biggest fan of its damage output in this game other than into the Umbreon, which I feel like I have pretty good tools to play around Umbreon, so I don't think it's like that big of a deal. But let's see. Sableye Overquill, is this T-Spike setup? I don't really mind T-Spike setup, but alright. We do lead King Gambit plus Ninetales, which is actually a pretty good position for us because Overquill is going to activate that Defiant on the King Gambit thanks to the Intimidate, so I'm pretty happy about that. Alright. Now the question is what do I want to go for here, because Overquill does get access to poison moves. We could see a fake out into King Gambit. There's a lot that could go on here. I could go in Eelektross immediately, but I feel like I'd rather just put on a lot of offensive pressure with maybe like a Kowtow Cleave or an Iron Head. I think I'll probably just go for either Blizzard. Saving this for Garchomp would be nice though, because I don't have the best Garchomp answer. Maybe just Protect here and just throw off a Kowtow Cleave, ain't too bad, into the Sableye. I don't need the damage on Overquill, and they're not really threatening the King Gambit with much damage, so let's see what they're going to do here. Sunny Day, okay. So Sunny Day, interesting. I guess for the rain matchup, Minimize. Ooh, okay, but that's kind of alright here because I have Kowtow Cleave and I do have Snow Blizzard. And Sableye actually just went down to Kowtow Cleave, which I'm a bit surprised about, but okay, Sableye goes down, alright. I'll take that. I wonder if there's a Psychopmon on this team. It's going to be Umbreon. Okay, I do have Moonblast. I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to go for a Moonblast into the Umbreon, and I'm just going to go for a... Guess I go for Kowtow Cleave, or should I just go for Iron Head? I think I just go for Kowtow Cleave. Life Orb Moonblast into Kowtow will probably do a lot of damage at +1. So let's see. Here comes a Moonblast into the Umbreon. Pretty good damage. Okay. This is Psych Up, right? I'm pretty sure this Mon gets Psych Up now. This is probably Minimize again. Oh, it's Citrus. I thought it'd be lefties. Okay, they go for Minimize. I'm assuming this is Psych Up as well from the Umbreon. Yep. So I am right on that. I want to get my Ninetales out of here so I can start spamming Blizzard, because Blizzard will be nice. I also have Coil on Eelektross, so I guess this isn't nearly as bad. Yeah, I get a lot of damage in the Umbreon. Oh, I see what they're trying to do. They're probably just trying to go for a... with the Sunny Day now, because it's probably the Moonlight on the Umbreon. Okay. Can I just go in Eelektross, I think, and set up a Kowtow, I think, into... I think I target the Overquill, because I get damage on Overquill, which I don't think has access to much recovery here. Okay, we bring out Eelektross. Acupressure. Accuracy Rise? Sure. Baton Pass. Interesting. So the final Mon is Sableye? No, it can't be Sableye. Floette. Okay, this is going to be annoying. I do get a Kowtow Cleave off. Good damage into Overquill, actually, for +1 Kowtow. Problem is, I do need damage on the Floette. I do need damage on the Flood, and I will probably just spam Kowtow in order to accomplish that. I'm probably just going to spam Coil now with Eelektross and just go for a Kowtow. I could go for Iron Head, but I'm not really wanting to play games at +4 evasion. I think if I can get 2 Kowtows off, a Blizzard should KO, which would be nice. And I should live 2 Gleams because of the fact that I'm really Spadef Gambit. So let's see. But Minimize stuff was definitely not on my list of predictions to deal with this team. Okay. But we do have, thankfully, a lot of accuracy answers. They go for Substitute, which is really good because I did go for Kowtow. They're probably going for Acupressure to try and get something, which is nice. Okay. So we do get a Coil Up. And now we have an accuracy boost, so we have a chance to hit it. Acupressure goes through Sub. Okay, that is bad. I might have to hit the first wall charge just instantly on the spot. I should live a Dazzling Gleam though, and then put this Pokemon into range of Blizzard. Okay. So we saw Minimize, we see Acupressure. We haven't seen the other moves yet. I mean, I still go for a wall charge and a Flood plus Kowtow. This is where Spadef Gambit can probably clutch in for some good damage into Floette. Yeah, so I don't know what the odds are. We have +1 accuracy versus +4 evasion. They go for a substitute again, so they're trying to fish for something else as well. Okay, which is fine. If we hit this, we're in such a good shape. Oh, that's such good shape. That's such good shape because now Floette's in range of Blizzard, which is fantastic. Good job, Eelektross. Coil Eelektross already doing something, okay? Attack, perfect. The worst stat they could have gotten. Kowtow into the Floette. Almost takes a knockout, beautiful. And now we just spam Kowtow into... Do we coil here? I guess we coil. No. Do I coil? I guess I coil. I think coil is fine in Kowtow because they could protect Floette, I assume. And Gambit should live attack as long as it's not Moonblast, but that's fine. Because now I just bring in the Ninetales and click Blizzard. We do have to dodge one thing though, which I am going to not say until I see the turn. So we have +2 on Eelektross. Yep, Acupressure. Okay. Oh, they targeted themselves, which is interesting. Okay. They got +6 evasion, but now we have a Ninetales coming in and clicking Blizzard. Should be good here. Should be good. And we will go for the Blizzard and a Wild Charge into the Overquill. Actually, let me double check the Overquill stats real quick. It is +6 evasion, and that's it. Okay. So we go for Wild Charge and we go for Blizzard. I wonder if they even have Protect. Does Acupressure go to Protect? I want to say it's like coaching, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Blizzard comes out. We knock out the Flood because Blizzard can never miss in snow. One of the great things. So luckily my team had good answers to this kind of Minimize stuff. So that's really nice. As Eelektross is also hitting, getting the 1-hit KO on the Overquill. Goodbye, Overquill. And now it's the final Mon revealed, going to be the Umbreon. And we just click Moonblast and Wall Charge. So, you know, phenomenal. Had a bunch of accurate moves that could actually hit. Luckily, Eelektross really clutched up and hit the attacks. Ninetales in the back was really good, and what can I say? Good accuracy. All right, we have Eternal Flood, Toxapex, Incineroar, Sinistcha, Delphox, and Basculegion. Interesting that the Toxapex is an addition over usually what you would see King Gambit for on this team. Okay. This matchup... It's kind of weird. It's like fine, but at the same time, there's some complicated issues. What am I going lead-wise here? I like King Gambit Bass lead because Wave Crash does a lot to Flood, even if they lead Incin. So I think I just lead Basculegion King Gambit, which I think is a generally good lead against this team, I want to say. And then I think in the back... I definitely bring Eelektross. My question is, do I bring Ninetales or Blaziken? Because both aren't terrible here. I'm kind of leaning towards Ninetales because I am going to be able to throw off like powerful Blizzard Moonblast. Like Blaziken's not bad either. Garchomp isn't terrible either because of the speed, but I do think having one way to revenge KO Floette is pretty strong here. So I think I'm going to go with Ninetales. Because I'm not too worried. Well, I guess I should probably be worried about the Delphox if they bring Delphox over Floette. But I'm kind of assuming they're going to bring the Floette over Delphox because I think me not having a Fairy Resist probably contributes to that. Yeah, exactly. So we see Incineroar plus the Floette, which is not too surprising as I do lead Kingambit plus the Basculegion. I do threaten Ironhead Wave Crash. There are a few complications that we have to consider for the matter here. I think I'm just going to go for a Wave Crash immediately in the Floette and Ironhead, but they could protect. They could go for Protect, or they could go for Protect Parting, Protect Flare Blitz, Protect Throat Chop. They could go for a Fake Out here into Kingambit and draw off a Moonblast. They could go for Calm Mind immediately. There's a lot that could happen here with this lead, so depends on what my opponent's really feeling here. But I think my best play is to double up the Floette because I think it could be likely that the Floette attacks here, so let's see. They do Mega Evolve, which is not too surprising, but that doesn't indicate whether it protects or not this turn. Alright, Floette. Are you attacking or not? That's a big question. That's a big question. I need the damage in the Floette too. Nice. Oh, they went for Dazzling Gleam Flare Blitz. Alright, we do get a Wave Crash off into the Floette. Actually, really good damage. That's incredible damage. Okay. Flare Blitz. Yeah, that's going to KO Kingambit. So that's also another option that they had. Good play on their part. They also, I want to say they have a lot of special attack investment. Alright, we can go Ninetales. Life or Moonblast? It's going to be close into that Floette, I feel. I think they have to go Sinistra. The question is, is the Floette... I think I just Aqua Jet the Floette and Moonblast. I want to say Sinistra just comes in. Yeah, I'm going to go for Aqua Jet plus Moonblast. They're going to retreat Incineroar. There should be Sinistra. Yep, I think they're just hoping to live the Blizzard here, so I'm hoping that I'm correct here by going for the Aqua Jet Moonblast, which should KO. Nice. Perfect. I could have went for Blizzard here too, I suppose. Maybe Blizzard was better if I read this. Yeah, Blizzard was a bit better. For some reason, I thought the Aqua Jet would do a bit less, but it's still like Mystic Water Basculegion, so yeah, I probably could have got Blizzard damage into the Sinistra, but granted, this is still a pretty okay spot. We've gotten a lot of pressure into their side. Now it's just going to come down to who's in the back. Probably Bask. I guess the question is it Scarf Bask or not? Because that's actually a big question. So I do have Freeze Dry on my Ninetales, and they shouldn't be able to knock out my Ninetales in one shot, so I do have access to Freeze Dry, but it could be Sash on the Basculegion or Scarf, and I kind of have to get this right. I think. I'm also a little bit concerned because the end game, I think I should have Blizzard earlier. I think not Blizzarding is a mistake because I got the call right on the Floette, but I didn't get the call right on the hit. I think I needed to Blizzard that previous turn. I guess we'll find out if it's Scarf or not. I'm going to just go for a Last Respect Blizzard here. And I'm going to target the Sinistra, I think, because I need to remove the Sinistra so I have access to... I'm pretty sure I have to remove the Sinistra because I think this, if it's Sash, it could be Trick Room here. So I'm going to go for Blizzard Last Respect. Ooh, good play on their part. Instant. Is this Protect on Bask? No, good play on their part. Unless they target my own Bask. If they target my own Bask, this is still okay. Yeah, no, this is still okay. Get a crit on the Bask. Shouldn't matter too much. Actually, it does matter because if it's Sash, this does change stuff. They Last Respect my Ninetales. They're faster than my Bass, so it's either Adamant Speed Tie or they're Jolly. They're Life Orb, okay. We get Last Respect off into the Instant. It might be a Speed Tie, that's the problem. If it's a Speed Tie, I have to go for a Last Respect into Bask. Because the reason is, like, I could protect, double protect here, but they just fake out. And in last respect, I think my best odds are to attack and just hope I win a speed tie here. Because then next turn, even if I don't protect here, instant could retreat back into Sinistra, and then it's still like a pretty awful spot for me. So I think I have to go for last respect speed tie here, and I'm going to go for a drain punch into the instant. Or should I go for wall charge? I guess wall charge is fine. Because it should knock out instant at this range and also should KO the Floette. So, alright, gonna just come down to potential Bass speed tie unless they're Jolly. So we'll find out. They fake out the Eelektross. Okay, I think they might be Jolly. I think they are very likely Jolly here, unfortunately for me. So I do lose the Basket Legion, and that'll be the game. Oh, if I Blizzard the Floette earlier, getting that damage on Sinistra would have mattered so much. But even then, like, I did get the call wrong here. I guess, like, what could I have done? I could have freeze dried with Ninetales. I think that would have been better, realistically. I think the thing is, I think if I went for Blizzard instead of Moonblast, I could have gotten like just went for Last Respect and freeze dry. And I think that would have been a safer like read there in that position if I got the Blizzard damage off compared to like going for the Moonblast earlier. Because without the Moonblast, then I wasn't sure if I was going to click Blizzard or potential freeze dry. I think I could have covered for a lot of these better if I did go for the earlier Blizzard. I just underestimated Basket at that point and Ninetales, but yeah, Blizzard should have KO'd with Life Orb at that range. All right, we have Garchomp, Sneasler, Kingambit, Charizard, Sylveon, and Aerodactyl. Not used to seeing the Sneasler on this team, but kind of same concept of like just general Aerodactyl Charizard stuff. What am I going against this team? Because my matchup is like, it's not great. It's playable, but it's not amazing. All right. I think I'm definitely bringing Eelektross here. I think Eelektross is pretty good as a lead. It just is able to be neutral into like a lot of my opponent's tools. I kind of want to lead Eelektross Garchomp for the most part because Garchomp's really threatening into a lot of their Pokemon other than maybe like Sylveon. So I kind of like Garchomp plus the Eelektross lead, and then in the back, Ninetales is tempting. Kingambit could be good. Blaziken's not bad. I don't think I'm weak to Kingambit. I don't think the coaching helps me against dual wing beats Aerodactyl, so I think I'd probably leave that behind. Yeah, I don't think this is a Blaziken game. I think Kingambit or Basket Legion. I think Basket Legion makes a lot of sense to me in Ninetales. Because the problem with Kingambit is it does have access to Sucker Punch, and it is my best Rock Slide switch in. But Garchomp resists a Rock Slide already, so it's not like terrible. Aqua Jet's pretty good priority-wise. If I change to Weather, I think I'm in a pretty decent spot, but let's see. Aerodactyl Sylveon. Okay, could have brought Kingambit, so that's unfortunate for me. Yeah, this is not great. Lead-wise, this is not good. I probably live a Hyper Voice though with Garchomp at the worst case though. This is tough. I could go for a Rock Tomb and the Sylveon, I suppose. Rock Tomb Wall Charge. I don't even know if I'll guarantee outspeed the Sylveon after the Rock Tomb anyway. I think on my best play is just to get the KO on an Aerodactyl because I need to deny future Tailwinds and Rock Tomb the Sylveon. They don't Mega Evolve the Aerodactyl, that makes sense. It's probably the Charizard looking in the back. I can't really afford to protect here because I think I need the speed drop on Sylveon if I want to have a chance at this game, but let's see. They do go for Tailwind immediately, that makes sense, and then probably Hyper Voice. They shouldn't KO Garchomp if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay. Rock Tomb comes out into the Sylveon. That'll slow it down for the next couple. And then we'll go for a Wall Charge KO into Aerodactyl. Well, they're Sash. Okay, that actually changes the matchup a lot. Okay, I see what I have to do. I'm not a big fan of what I have to do, but yeah, I'm going to protect my Eelektross, and I'm sacking my Garchomp here to, I guess, go for another Rock Tomb attempt into Sylveon. This should probably just be Rock Slide Hyper Voice coming out. So that's fine. They quick attack the Eelektross for Rock Slide. That gives you, I feel like you I guess like they're worried about Eelektross being fast. Okay, I dodged with Garchomp, which is kind of weird for me because I actually wanted to Aqua Jet the... I wanted to sack Garchomp so I could Aqua Jet the Aerodactyl. Now it's actually a weird spot because now the quick attack Rock Slide play actually works for them. And I kind of needed Eelektross to beat the Gambit. So I'm going to have to make a read here, unfortunately, and hope they don't Hyper Voice. But I do have to click Protect and Swap now. Okay, I actually... Yeah, that might have like... Okay, it seems kind of fortunate, but it actually isn't for me because I would have preferred Garchomp going down here to get the Wave Crash or the Aqua Jet off. But now I'm actually in a really rough spot. All right. So we bring up Bask, and I'm going to protect Garchomp. Because I think Bass would have probably outspent the Sylveon after that Rock Tomb. So Quick Attack going to come out into Bass. It actually does do a decent chunk. And they go for a Rock Slide. Okay. That's a nice Rock Slide dodge. Is it worth keeping Garchomp? I do have the Citrus Berry, so it can definitely still provide value. But I think do I want to let it go? I think it's probably better to just go for a Wave Crash into the Sylveon and probably swap. Health on Ninetales is not super important in this game. It's just if Ninetales is alive. So I'll go out into my Ninetales and just click Wave Crash and get the Snow up, I suppose. It might incentivize Charizard coming in. Okay, they protect fearing Aqua Jet, so I don't take any damage on Switch, which is actually really good. Okay. And they Quick Attack attempt to KO the Garchomp. Alright, that makes sense. Okay, we get a Wave Crash off to KO the Sylveon, so Sylveon goes down. All right, this is winnable, but it's like still really tough. It's still really tough, unfortunately. Like this team matchup is just leads. Getting the lead right is really important. Aerodactyl, Gambit, Aerodactyl, Sylveon, they're all pretty rough. Charizard coming in, that makes sense. Depends on the back Pokemon here. I'm going to go for Aqua Jet into the Aerodactyl, and I am going to swap out into Garchomp. Do I swap out into Garchomp? No, it's probably better to keep it around. Although if it's Gambit back, I'm still like in a lot of trouble. Aqua Jet Moonblast. I don't think it's the Gambit at that range, but I think well, if it's their own Garchomp, I might need Ninetales. I think I might as well just protect Aqua Jet, even though I think they might Solar Beam here. Okay, we do see the Mega here. I need to deduce their last Pokemon. Is it King Gambit Garchomp or Basky Legion is going to be a big question mark here. Alright, so we protect Ninetales. The sun is up. Aqua Jet should KO the Aerodactyl here. Alright, so they're down to their final two. What's Charizard clicking? Heat Wave or Solar Beam? Probably Solar Beam. Oh, they went for Heat Wave, which I'm shocked by, but that works for me. Yep. Alright. What's the final? King Gambit? If it's King Gambit, I sack my Garch. Oh, it's their Garchomp. Okay. I think I have a pretty good line, I suppose. So we want to sack our Eelektross here because I guess they didn't bring Gambit. We're going to go out into our Eelektross to throw it off here because I think this is a pretty good position to click Blizzard afterward and Aqua Jet. So they're going to protect Garchomp, which makes sense. They don't want to risk the Blizzard hitting the Garchomp, so they're going to go for Heat Wave to try and get a double knockout. I protect my Basket Legion here, so this is actually good. Heat Wave going to come out into the Eelektross, and I guess now it's... Why are you making things so difficult, Eelektross? Because that actually messes up my plan. I think I still have a very likely win. Yeah, I do. Okay. So as long as the Garchomp isn't Sash here or Yachi, I should be fine. But we're going to sack both of these Pokemon to get Garchomp next to my Basket Lead, or Garchomp next to my Ninetales, and then I should be able to click Blizzard plus Rock Tomb and seal up the game. So that should be good enough. We are going to see the Earthquake take the knock on Bass, but that's fine. It is Life Orb Chomp, so I don't have to worry about a potential loose con here. Okay, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Here we're going to KO Eelektross. That's going to take the knockout, but that's all right because now we get a free switch in to our Garchomp and our Ninetales. And I don't have to worry about a Garchomp speed tie because the Ninetales is faster than their Garchomp. Goes for Blizzard, takes out the Garchomp slot, and if it protects, then the Rock Tomb will finish off the Charizard. Do I want to risk if Dragon Claw knocks out? Blizzard with Life Orb should do 40. Dragon Claw probably knocks out the... I'd imagine knocks out Charizard, unless this is bold Charizard, but it doesn't look bold based on the Mystic Water Aqua Jet damage, so I think I'm just going to Dragon Claw. I'm not going to risk the Rock Tomb. I'm pretty sure Dragon Claw should KO. We do see a Protect from Garchomp, which makes sense. Here comes Blizzard. But yeah, I do think I could have still won, assuming that like my opponent did hit the moves. Oh, I did a little bit more. Okay, I was about to say I did more with Blizzard than I thought, but a critical hit. But I don't think the crit matters here because Dragon Claw will KO the Charizard. But granted, I do think that it was possible to win even with the miss moves. But when my opponent is going for like Rock Slides, Heat Waves, you have to eventually think you're going to miss one of them at that point. But yeah, it did actually get a little bit weird for positioning because I was like, okay, I could get like Basculegion in. I could threaten the Sylveon. Instead, I had an awkward position with Garchomp. All right, we're going to see Charizard, Whimsicott, King Gambit, Basculegion, the Glimmora, and Garchomp. All right, we haven't seen the Glim version of this team in a while. All right, how do I want to perform against this team? I have like okay options. Well, let's see. Am I willing to trade Eelektross for their Charizard? Potentially. Although their Gambit becomes a lot scarier, but I think it's probably playable still. I don't know if you go Glimmora against me because I have a Garchomp, a King Gambit, and a Basque. So I think Glimmora is incentivized to be left on the bench here. I don't mind Blaziken plus Eelektross because Blaziken's a good lead against a lot of the Whimsicott teams because I can just go for like a Heat Wave immediately, which is pretty solid. So unless they double attack with Moonblast plus a follow-up, I'm generally in an okay spot. Then what do I want to pair it up with? I want to say it's Ninetales Basque. Garchomp can be good here as well. Aqua Jet priority is really nice though. I think Ninetales Garchomp is pretty good though. I'm a little bit weak to their Basculegion because I don't know if it's Scarf Basculegion on this team, but otherwise, like, I think this is all right because I don't really want to bring King Gambit against this team. I mean, it does have some good usefulness, right? But I'm a bit more worried about their low-kick King Gambit potential, which is a bit scary. They actually picked Glimmora, which is surprising because I don't think Glimmora is that great into my team, but all right. We do see Blaziken plus the Eelektross here. Here's on who they target. And usually this means the because the Whimsicotts usually cannot run Sash on this team unless it's Mega Glimmora. Are you Mega Glimmora on this team? Okay. Can I just fire off a Heat Wave and switch to Garchomp? That's a play that I do have access to. I'm thinking Heat Wave switch to Garchomp ain't that bad here. Unless you're going to double my Blaziken, which I guess could make sense because you could go for Moonblast Earth Power. Because you are faster than Blaziken. They do Tailwind immediately though. Okay, they do click the Tailwind button, which is not surprising to me. Sludge Bomb into the Garchomp slot. So this is really good. Okay, perfect. No poison as well. Hit the Heat Wave, so I break a Sash on Glimmora potential, and I do KO the Whimsicott. So don't have to worry about Encore anymore, which is really nice. So Whimsicott goes down. Super solid. You don't want to click Protect there because, of course, Whimsicott does threaten the Encore pressure the following turn. So very nice. We are able to get rid of Whimsicott, which is a great start here. And a Garchomp going to come in for their slide, or for their slot, which makes sense here. Okay. You have to double up Blaziken if you want to take the knockout into it. Double Protect seems fine here because I get the speed boost with Blaziken. And we still have a turn Tailwind, so I'm just going to go for a Double Protect. I feel pretty good about endgame Ninetales Eelektross, actually. So all I have to do is stall out this Tailwind, and then I think I set up for Eelektross plus Ninetales. Especially if I get any damage on Glimmora, I feel pretty good. They go for Dragon Claw and a Garchomp, and Earth Power and a Blaziken. Okay, that makes sense. Am I willing to lose my Garchomp here? I don't exactly love the idea of Toxic Spikes going up against my Blaziken, but realistically, like, I don't want to risk my Ninetales because Ninetales is a win con, right? So I think I'm going to go for Aura Spear and I'm going to go for Earthquake because they either double up my Blaziken, I feel, or they target the Garchomp, which is fine. Yeah, if you target the Garchomp, this is okay. Because again, I'm trying to set up for a position where Ninetales comes in and clicks Blizzard and then just destroys the team afterwards. So that's kind of the goal here. And they go for Earth Power, which is cool. Although, keeping Garchomp around, if I did go into Ninetales, I probably like had it guaranteed with Garchomp, so maybe it was worth the risk there. Actually, maybe it was worth the risk. Maybe that wasn't the best play. Well, if they Sludge Bombed. I was worried if they doubled up the Garchomp with Dragon Claw plus Sludge Bomb, because it also hit the Blaziken. I'm kind of surprised they aren't going for Sludge Bomb, because he still put me in the Sash range regardless. I can go out into Ninetales, though. And we click... I'm plus 3 speed. I should outspeed Garchomp. Yeah, I outspeed Garchomp. Under Tail... Actually, do I outspeed Garchomp under Tailwind? It's like 169 times 2, which is 340. And then 132 times 2.5... Because I feel like they could switch into Charizard, so I kind of want to click Aura Spear Blizzard. But I think I'm just going to go for... Oh, wait, I didn't mean to attack like that. That was a mistake. Oh, well. Yeah, actually, they were faster. Why did I do that? Okay, this is actually still better for me. Unironically, this is still better for me. Because they didn't hard switch Zard. If they hard switched Zard, it actually could have gotten ugly. That should have been a double attack there. But actually, this is actually better for me because now I get Coil Up. But that was a big mistake. I was doing the math and I'm like pretty sure that Garchomp actually did outspeed the Blaziken barely. Okay. So now I get Eelektross in and this is okay because I get to click Coil and I get to click Blizzard. I don't even have to click Coil. I could just click Wall Charge into Garchomp. Or I could click Wall Charge into Glim. If I expect a Charizard to come in, it's my best interest to actually go for one of these. Although, the thing is, I could sack Garchomp, go for Spiky Shield, and then because of that, the extra damage could put Eelektross in range of Weather Ball. So you know what? Actually, I am just going to Coil plus Blizzard. Because we might as well just get the attack boost in case of a Heat Wave burn, I suppose. But more importantly, we just don't take the spiky damage, which is more important. Okay, they Spiky Shield. Yep, perfect. They do sack the Garchomp like I thought. So I'm glad I didn't go for like a Wall Charge trying to call out the Charizard. Yeah, this was a little bit of a sloppy game for me, but it is going to work out, thankfully. We do KO the Garchomp, so Garchomp goes down. And, I mean, if it's Basculegion as the last Pokemon, the Coil actually does matter a lot here. Because we get the defense boost. So I'm wondering if it is Garchomp or if it's Basque. I mean, if it's King Gambit, I feel fine because I just click Blizzard, Drain Punch. No, it is Charizard. Okay. They need to either get a double attack with Glimmora or a KO into the Eelektross. But we're clicking Freeze Dry and we're clicking Wall Charge. Moonblast, I think, barely misses the knockout into the Glimmora, so I go for Freeze Dry here. I don't need any residual damage on Charizard to KO it with +1 Wall Charge, so this should be fine. But yeah, a little bit sloppy how he played that mid game, but I think it should still be pretty good for me here. Nice. Freeze Dry going to come out, take the knockout on the Glim. So Glim goes down. All I need is Eelektross to survive one move from Charizard. And I do have Spadef. So I imagine I do live one attack. They might be clicking Heat Wave anyway. They are clicking Heat Wave, so I should live regardless. Yeah, I think Weather Ball would have just been barely a survival. Oh, and fun fact, they did get the burn. Let's see. If I don't KO the Charizard, maybe Eelektross ain't it. Okay, never mind. Eelektross is not it. This You know what? I at least said that, oh, I get the coil. But I do think I had a line there. I do think I had a line. I just didn't want to risk them clicking Dragon Claw Sludge Bomb double up into Ninetales, because if they Dragon Claw Sludge Bomb double up to Ninetales, I actually think I'm in such a bad position, because then they have a Life Orb Chomp that's like decimating my team. So even though like the turn played out, if Ninetales came in, it did win, I felt like I had a better path to victory, because like I could have had a really tough chance here against their team with the... if they did double up, catch my Ninetales on the switch with Dragon Claw plus Sludge Bomb, compared to like, oh, the Ninetales endgame is like a pretty good spot. Granted, I also could have protected Blaziken, and so I could have got extra damage into the Charizard, but I mean, it still came down to like a crit or burn, unfortunately, against the Zard, and unfortunately, one of those did happen, so not much I can do. All right, we have Alolan Ninetales, Golden Go, Incineroar, Sinistra, Ceruledge, and the Scovillain. Okay. So we have a team here which realistically is probably okay for me. Yeah, I don't mind dealing with this team, but I do have some things I do have to worry about, which is going to be Scovillain, which is going to be a bit scary, but otherwise I feel like I probably can play around just fine. I think I don't bring Ninetales. I don't think it's necessary. I think Blaziken plus Legion, just going for coaching and Wave Crash, eliminate the Scovillain immediately, sounds really good to me. So I'm just going to go for it. Then in the back, I don't think... Garchomp's decent, but there is the Ninetales. I think I'd rather just bring Eelektross Kingambit, because Kingambit good into both Ninetales and Golden Go. Like, the only big threat on their team is really that Ceruledge. If I can get rid of Ceruledge, I feel like I'm in a phenomenal position. So let's see what we can do here. But we'll find out. Gonna be the Incineroar Scovillain. Okay. This is fine. Could be better, but is fine. I wonder if they're gonna hard swap the Incin. I could see hard swap the Incin. I kind of want to just Heat Wave here. How bad is Heat Wave? Because, like, what can they do? Like, the worst case is, like, Leech Seed with Scovillain. I think I'm just going to throw off a Heat Wave, and I'm going to go for Protect. They stay in, so I wonder if they Parting Shot instead, but that's fine. Like, Fake Out, like, losing my Sash in this matchup isn't too bad, because they don't really have a way to eliminate Blaziken with one hit. So, like, I'm okay with giving up my Sash if I have to. I will protect my Bask here. Let's see... They do Fake Out the Blaziken, that's fine. And I'm assuming they go for something in the Bask? Giga Drain, okay. So I'm okay with this. I do get the speed boost. And I'm just going to go for coaching. I'm going to go for coaching into the Legion, and I'm just going to go for a Wave Crash into Scovillain, because if I get rid of Scovillain, I feel really, really set here. I could target the Incin as well, so they have to have some fear here. I guess I could protect Parting Shot, but that would be fine, I suppose. They retreat Scovillain, so good play on their part to preserve it. Oh, never mind. They went into Ceruledge. I think losing that win con is actually worse for them, because I think that's the mon that actually does damage to my team. Okay. We do get the attack and defense boost, and this should be a goodbye Ceruledge. Yep. So I am very happy with Ceruledge gone, because that was the biggest threat to, like, my entire team. I feel like that was the mon that was able to set up and do a lot of damage. And then they go for Parting Shot into Blaziken. So I'm still neutral with my Legion, which is pretty solid. Okay. Like, losing their setup mon right at the start of the bat isn't great for them. Sinistra coming in. Okay. Still got to be a bit careful, but it's all right. This is Incin. If it's Incin, I might as well just click Wave Crash into the Incin, because if I get rid of Incin, it means that... Well, do I even have to do that? They're in a really tough spot. I mean, this could be Fake Out Blaziken, which is fine. I feel pretty good, because I feel like Scovillain is just going to have a lot of trouble here. But I guess Sinistra... They can't really break through Blaziken, though. That's the thing. So I think I should probably keep Blaziken around. I think it's go King Gambit because they could try to Trick Room here and Wave Crash this Incineroar. Let's see. I don't think they're gonna Rage Powder here. If they Rage Powder, that's fine. But let's see. Oh, they Heart Swap. Actually, I mean, this is still a hit I really wanted in this Scovillain. And now they have Incineroar in the back, so I'm not as concerned. Like, this is a pretty powerful Wave Crash coming out. Yeah, that's good damage. Very good damage. I don't really care about the burn too much. They did go for Trick Room. Okay, my Gambit's actually in a phenomenal spot offensively against this right now. So I'm feeling pretty alright here. I can just kowtow and Last Respect pretty reasonably. Because if they have Overheat, they have to -2 special attack here, which is actually pretty big. So I'm going to go for just Last Respect and kowtow. And if they don't Rage Power with Sinistra, this is a kowtow and a Scovillain. Does take the knockout. Sure, I get burned with Gambit, but that's fine. Because Instant's going to come in and give me a boost here, which is nice. And Blaziken's still looking pretty good. They Matcha Gotcha. King Gambit avoids. That damage was like nothing to King Gambit, so it's like, alright. And then Basket Legion is going to take a bit of chip, but that is fine. Okay. Now we go on and Blaziken because Intimidate doesn't matter to Blaziken. Might as well just... I need to get rid of Sinistra now. Just getting rid of Sinistra will be pretty ideal here. So... Incineroar comes in, gets the Intimidate off. Gives me the Defiant. Do I want to go for Coaching Protect? Probably. Or I could go for Kowtow Coaching. Because they can only fake out one slot. They could protect Sinistra and Flare Blitz, which is why I'm considering going for the other play. But I think Kowtow... I'm debating about like all the options here. I want to make sure I don't mess up. I think Double Protect is probably okay here. And I think Double Protect is fine here. Perfect, okay. I could have Protect Coaching, but this still works out for me pretty well. Because I scouted for the Sinistra Protect, now they need a double. Yep. My Gambit's also slow on this team. It's guaranteed slower than Incineroar. So I can go for Kowtow plus Heat Wave pretty safely. And once I get rid of Sinistra, Eelektross just wins. So we will go for a Heat Wave and a Kowtow. Okay. That's really, really good for me, as Kowtow will come out. Black Glasses does a lot to Sinistra. Are you a berry? Nope. Flare Blitz will come out. Does this KO Gambit? With the Matcha Gotcha from earlier, but it doesn't really matter too much here. They do go for Matcha. As long as I KO the Sinistra with Heat Wave, it could be Akka. I mean, it doesn't KO the Gambit with Matcha, but like, it doesn't really change that much. Heat Wave connects. Okay, so that is game sealed. The Sinistra goes down. I do lose my Gambit, but Incineroar cannot beat these Pokemon by itself. It's already struggling against Blaziken, but I also still have my Mega Eelektross in back, and now Mega Eelektross cleans up, so fantastic. I wasn't expecting to get rid of Ceruledge as easily as I did, but it did really help out. I was really trying to aim for getting rid of Scovillain, but you know what? Like, both of those threats, gladly will take both of those threats. And now we can just go for a Double Protect, and then next turn we can go for Aura Spear or Drain Punch, or Aura Spear, Drain Punch, or Coaching Drain Punch. But I'm going to be forfeit because they realize, yeah, there's nothing that they can do for Incineroar to win. So very nice. Just a lot of pressure from the Basque and Blaziken. Alright, we have Grimmsnarl, Swampert, Pelipper, Archaludon, Sinistra, and Metagross. Okay, this is a very common rain team, so let's see, how do I want to approach this? I don't mind going with... what do I want to lead here? I think I probably just stick to my normal game plan of just going with Blaziken, Eelektross, which should generally be okay for the most part. Try to set up a coaching as quick as possible and then try to go with an end game plan. of like Ninetales, and then I guess the question is, am I bringing Bask or Gambit? I think I probably like Bask in this matchup a bit better here, just because it is pretty strong against the... I'm just a little bit worried about Sinistra. Sinistра is always a little bit annoying, but I do have Ninetales, which is still pretty good into it. Let's think of bringing King Gambit because it's okay in a Metagross too, but a lot of Metagross, I don't remember on this rain team if they run Body Press. I want to say they do. So if they're running Body Press, it just makes it harder to utilize the King Gambit effectively, especially when they have our Chaladon and there's no Basculegion at the threats. And since I don't have to worry about their own Basculegion, I think my own Basculegion makes sense because Last Respect and Wave Crash do a ton of damage in the late game. So let's see if I am going to be correct here. Gonna be the lead of Swampert Grimmsnarl, that's fine. Versus Blaziken Eelektross. I wonder if they're scared of the grass move on the Eelektross. I think I'm just gonna get a coaching up with my Eelektross, and they could go hard in the Pelipper here. I think the safest play is always to protect and coaching, because unless they fake out my Blaziken, then that's the only spot where I see this is not being great. So I'm going to go for coaching plus protect here. I don't mind training Blaziken for either the Pelipper in this matchup or to get coaching stacks on Eelektross. So let's see. Let's see what they decide to do here. Get a protect off. They protect the Swampert, interesting. Okay, I guess they are scared of Giga Drain, so they want to scout. Light Screen? Reflect. Okay, that's fine. I do not mind that, because now I should be able to get 2 boosts onto the Eelektross potentially. And again, I'm trying to snipe the Pelipper on switch if they try to go for Parting Shot plus a attack in Eelektross. So I'm just going to go for a coaching, and I'm going to go for a wall charge. Let's see if this works out. Because they do go for Parting Shot. Okay, I have a feeling that this is going to be Pelipper. And if it's Pelipper, I should be able to get a Wall Charge KO here. Maybe coaching wasn't the best play. I should have probably Aura Speared the Swampert just to get damage to put in range of Freeze Dry, even through Light Screen. So that's like, could be one mistake, but like this should still be alright. Wave Crash, I should live. Yep, perfect. They take Recoil. I mean, if they take Recoil, then Aura Spear wasn't necessary, right? So I do get the coaching off again, but more importantly, I should get the kill on Pelipper because they don't usually run Sash on this team, I want to say. Yep, perfect. So Pelipper eliminated is fantastic. Getting rid of Pelipper is incredible for me because now I win the Weather War guaranteed. So Eelektross, you have done the job getting rid of the Pelipper, which I needed you to do. Now we have a Speed Boost Blaziken, which is threatening pretty much everything that isn't the Swampert, and then we just go out into Ninetales and start threatening the Freeze Dry. We also have our Basculegion in the back, which is looking pretty good as well, so a lot of things to be looking up here. Our Chaladon coming in, which is nice. So we have a lot of options. I do like the idea of just going for an Aura Spear plus Moonblast potentially into the Archaladon. We could go for Freeze Dry and a Swampert. There's a lot of plays that we have here. I think I'm just going to try to double up the Archaladon. Well, let me see. Yeah, because that is probably the most annoying thing for my Bask here in this position. So I'm going to double up the Archaladon. They do switch out to Swampert. Maybe I could have Blizzard. Blizzard was safe too, but I think this is still okay. Did they protect? They didn't protect. Okay, so I do get the Archaladon. It's huge. I should have Blizzard, but granted, like, this is still a really good position. Aura Spear does a ton of damage, and Moonblast will also KO. Should have Blizzard here, but acceptable. Moonblast will KO the Archaladon, and yeah, this should be a wrap at this point. I don't see how they're coming back against my Ninetales at this point. So, feeling pretty good about this spot. Another Speed Boost, and yeah, battle gonna be forfeit. Really nice. I do really love the idea of just having Ninetales there, just being able to really showcase how strong it can be. So how was the team? It's a little bit tough because I did try this team for quite a bit, and let me just say, I kept getting crit a bunch of times. Like whenever I went for coaching with Eelektross, I would either get crit turn 1 or turn 2 immediately, which made it really hard to be able to adjust stuff. I think the team is fine for the most part. I did really enjoy some of the elements by themselves. Like I think Blaziken's still really good. I think I could have probably went for other coaching stuff, but I did of course just try to push for Eelektross to showcase it in the video. But I do think that Life Orb Ninetales is actually pretty good. I think that was like one of the most impressive parts about the team. Eelektross, it's a little bit weird because you want the special defense to live like the attacks from the Charizard, yet sometimes this Pokemon was missing knockouts without like a lot of attack investments, so it's kind of hard to say. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that the team was more not designed around Eelektross. It was a Regulation H team that was more adjusted, and then I added the Eelektross later on, so there could be elements that I think maybe make Eelektross a bit more viable, especially like light screen stuff and potential. I could have had a Roarvel on the Ninetales and it could have been more effective for the Eelektross. I think Rain is probably a good partner with Eelektross as well, but I do think that it was pretty decent as it was able to do stuff in the video, thankfully. And overall, like I don't think it was the worst mon. It was just like a little bit hard to use because I think it does need like a lot of support in order to actually allow it to get going if you're running the coil set. Maybe it's better with a special attacker with the coverage that it does have access to. But if you'd like to try it out, again, I think there are a lot of elements on this team that are enjoyable. You can try it out with the replica code on your screen. You can check out the details of the team down below the description. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.